Hello everybody, it's Rebecca Davison here, intuitive coach and mentor and founder of the Intuitive Life Academy, and I'm here today with Maria Davis, who is a medical intuitive. So she's going to explain to us a little bit about what she does, and today we're going to talk about how your body talks to you intuitively. So Maria, could you tell us a little bit about what a medical intuitive does, please?
Hey Rebecca, and thanks for having me. A medical intuitive really reads the energy systems of your body through lots of. I'm very clairsentient. That's it. So clairsentient, and I feel the bodies. I feel the body's energies. I look at the chakras. I see things in the body. I get messages. So it's all about the body. Where the thoughts land in your body, that's giving me a thought pattern. So it helps dispel some self-limiting beliefs or resolve some issues. It resolves health issues as well, because once healing is about witnessing. So once the issue has been witnessed and you're conscious of it, it generally dispels. And I'll give you an example of that because that sounds a little out there. 20 of us went to the first medical intuitive training session that I had, and we all had hip problems. Hips are about when you have hip issues. Now, imagine that, 20 people with 20 hip issues. It's like, whoa, how does that happen? Universal energy being what it is, and you understand this too. It brings people together, so there's no accidents. So the hips are identity-based, so if you're having a crisis of identity or you're pushing through something new in your life, or you're creating something or evolving, I like to say evolving, I think sometimes I wish I have evolved, but I think I'm going to evolve forever, which is a good thing. But every time I feel a hip issue with myself, I go, okay, something's changing, and that's what happened in the group. And by the end of the 8 days that we were together, there were no more hip issues. We all were quite congruent with all our systems were balanced. The identity of the hip issue, or our identity being like, oh my God, I don't know what I am, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. That was all resolved because we just felt grounded, and it was an interesting process. So that's one thing.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating in regards to that you all were experiencing something similar. That's amazing, and that you're all about to go through a transformation. So how would somebody who's watching this, who probably doesn't have direct experience in regards to talking to their body, what would be a way that you could, lead them into becoming more comfortable with that, or what's something that they can do to start talking to their body?
Well, it's sort of that internal dialogue and hearing the internal dialogue and navigating through the processes of our frontal lobe, which is where all our thoughts, we try and resolve all the issues. But it's one would be to breathe. Breathing is a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's good.
The other thing is I love Louise Hay's You Can Heal Yourself. There's lots of affirmations and mantras, and there's lots of information about it. Then you might want to navigate with someone who's objective. So someone who can ask you insightful questions. Because quite often I know what's happening in the body before the client does. And it's sort of, but there's no point in me I help them navigate themselves to the answers rather than, and that's the most important thing, that we have our own insights. When you're being fixed by someone else, that just doesn't work. That's a Band-Aid. But when you have your own insight, so the own healer within comes up, then that's when you go, oh my God, I really do have, thank you God, thank you. I really do have the power to heal myself. It is a process, and it's a really profound process once we embrace it. So breathing would be number one. Breathing into, so say you're feeling pain, Elbows are a good one because there's inside and outside, right? There's lots of elbow. There's golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, and elbows are inner secrets. You know, it's like where we keep all our inner secrets. Now, whether it's on the lateral or the medial side, that will tell me something else. So it's sort of, I'm guided by my own training. So that's our left brain, but also my intuition. Like I said, I'm clairsentient, so I really feel the body before. As soon as they book in, I know what's wrong with them. It's really,
that's awesome.
Just fascinating. So that's, you know, what inner secrets are they holding on to with the burden of holding on to, and what can they release? So then I talk them through some stuff. I might do some visualization with them. I might get them just to breathe into the pain, and breathing into the pain, and then asking them, what colour is it? Now, the first colour that comes up is always black, because that's fear. And fear is black, and it can be penetrating black. You know, it's like, oh my God, I see black, and that feels really frightening from within. Okay, holding them safe, holding them secure in that image. And you go, just breathe through it, keep going. And I might do some Reiki on them. I might put some crystal healing. I might direct some energy straight into it. I'm a light worker, so I can direct energy straight into that. And as we process through the breathing exercise, which is simple, right? Just breathe into your elbow. How do I do that? I don't know. Just focus on it. We might teach them how to do that too, because it's sort of like, it can be a bit abstract at first. But the thing is, it works. And as the black dissipates, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So on Monday, I had a client here. And the colour was black, of course. You just know that black's going to come up, and black's come up for me. So it's experiential. I've been there, done that. But eventually it goes to white and gold. Always? Not always. But that's the transient. That's the transformational process. So white and gold, of course, is angelic and 7th and 8th realm. And it's pretty cool, right? Because we live in the 3rd realm, which we're not, you know, based with fear. So most of our pain is fear, unresolved fear.
Awesome. So people can use their attention to focus on an area and dissipate pain. So maybe tell me a little bit more, because I'm sure you've heard that that phrase, cellular memory. So to my mind, that would be when perhaps we put emotion into a certain part of our body. Would that be right? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, cellular memory. Cellular. All our cells contain memories of our this life, and what seems a little woo-woo and maybe a lot woo-woo to people, all our lifetimes. So we could have like trapped memories within ourselves. Most of them come out. That's that one limiting factor is I'm not enough, and they manifest and they germinate into pain, illness. And chronic disturbances in our energy field. So once we gauge the cellular memory, and I pick it up through the verbal language, through my skills to my skills to tap into the body. Now I say that I sort of had a little giggle because it's taken me a long time to really embrace that, but it's such a wonderful asset. So it's sort of almost like a mirror system that I use, and they will say, "Oh my goodness, how do you know that?" And then they will get like a brain fog, which happens, and I know that the brain synapses are trying to work it out. The left and right hemispheres are trying to so I just let the process heal itself, and you just direct them to what they need to unravel. Right. So it's really unraveling the stories that we're holding on to in our cellular memories. So what stories can we be holding on to? Well,
I've got one I can share as well.
Yes,
I had a circumstance where I went to an osteopath, and he put me on the table. I might have told you about this before, and I'd had a car accident. I'd been in a car accident in a car park, and he kind of mimicked the seatbelt, and he laid his hand across my chest, and kind of compression, and I started crying. And I was like, what is going on? This is so unusual and so bizarre. And he said to me, what happened to you when you were 7 years old? And he said, don't think about it, just the first thing that comes up. And I said to him, I fell off the jungle gym at school and I thought I was going to die because I got winded. So just an amazing experience, and I'm sure that's the kind of thing that you see on your table all day, every day, in regards to people having those kind of similar experiences where the memory kind of floats to the surface and they're just like, wow, I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing about it. If it's like I ask, what's your age, and I'll have an age already, and they respond, 3 or 5, or I think the other day was 7. No, I think it was 10. So let's go back. So it was 10, which is monkey mind, and I've got this system where the age that comes up will tell me what the story is reflective of. So what the memory is actually trying to tell me. So then I navigate them through with lots of questions, maybe visualizations, or maybe just Reiki, holding them safe. Well, what comes up is this whole thing about, the body just releases. The body actually releases physically, and I can say Mondays, which was about 4 days ago, there was shaking. There was a lot of shaking, and she could not get warm, and she needed to feel safe. And that was her body releasing a lot of stuck energy. And I've spoken to her since, and she's so light and productive. It's just amazing. She feels like a new woman. And that was, for her memory, it came up as 10, which on reflection, she didn't get it on the table when she was here. But she told me later on in the week that it was actually when her dad had conveyed to her like a really profound message, which she had forgotten.
Right.
And once witnessed, it's released.
Yeah.
So what happened with with the osteopath? Is that released, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, crying, of course, is a chemical release. So it was pretty amazing that obviously my body was holding on to that information.
Yeah, well, so if that's the case for this lifetime, imagine when we hold stuff for other lifetimes. Now, that comes up a lot. One of my clients had a lot of grief, but this lifetime is really perfect. Like, she couldn't see, but it was past lifetimes. There was a lot of grief. So there's a lot of coughing and spluttering, and there was psychic surgery and light language, and there was all sorts of healing modalities that came out. But in the end, she just felt so much more expanded, lighter, and able to understand where this deep sadness and sorrow was coming from, because there was nothing outwardly in her life today, and I think that's almost miraculous.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure you see lots of miracles where people have been experiencing pain and then, they get up off the table and, and I've experienced that myself just yesterday with a client who, doing some energetic clearing work, and she had sciatica, and it has got increasingly worse. And she has noticed that it's got increasingly worse with a situation that's happening for her emotionally. And after we'd done the clearing yesterday, she just got up to go and get something. I think it was a pen and paper. And she was like, I can stand up really easily because, again, just shifting the energy that's not serving that person. So fascinating work and wonderful to see. So can you give us an example of perhaps somebody who's been in quite a lot of pain and they've come to see you and it's shifted for them?
Well, migraines had come up. So migraines are compression of the skull cap, and the skull cap goes into the cerebral cortex, which goes down our the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. So it almost shuts down your whole system, because you can imagine that skull cap. If you've ever had a migraine, it's like a vice that really wants to crush your skull, basically, and that's what it is. So it's frontal cortex overthinking and not feeling safe within yourself, and it's also that's a chakra point here. So it's about breathing into it. And when you are having a migraine, there's nothing, you don't want to do anything. It's like you need to. So how do you do it? There's points. There's a point here that you can release.
Yep.
And there's ways of navigating so that you can release that cellular memory, so you don't have to go through that skull cap compression again. Now, when do we crush heads? I don't know. What was it, Vikings or
right.
There's lots of memories that can contribute to that. I know a bit like woo.
But it's true though, right?
And it's also it's a hormonal response to lots of worry and anxiety. So you release that. Just uncover some of the stories that are actually creating that vortex that's going to create that cellular patterning, that's going to create that skull cap, that's going to exacerbate the stress and the cortisol response. And your relationship with self will come into that too. So how are you treating yourself? Are you drinking enough water? Are you nourishing your soul? Are you taking time out? Those sorts of things will all help. So that's one. There was also I had a gentleman in here that had 30 years of neck pain, and his wife made him come. Good on wives. And he was burdened with responsibility of being the eldest son. He had a really prominent position, and he's a father of 7, so he was really just over anxious with responsibilities. And neck was forward, so it's always thinking. His shoulders were rounded, responsibility. Right. So we sort of released some of those, because responsibilities ability to respond rather than carrying the burden. So it's perception too. So I just talked him through a few things, and he was basically unaware of what was happening, but he goes, I think my neck pains after 30 years is gone. I'll go, whoa.
Wow.
Miracle.
That's incredible. That's amazing. And that must be so rewarding for yourself personally to see those kind of shifts take place for people.
I just find it, I'm so humbled by it. It's just an incredible honour for me to facilitate something like that.
Amazing.
But the other things are coming up a lot, and the audience might want to know. It's gut issues. Gut issues are coming up so much, and gut issues are, tolerance. What are you not tolerating about yourself? What are you? So stomach is, what are you not stomaching in your life? What needs to change? The liver is, I am livid. What are you angry about? The pancreas is anxiety and depression, and it's like, okay, so what are you anxious about? And sometimes when we're in that anxiety world, we can't really figure it out. Time to stop. Permission to stop. Can I just give your audience permission to stop?
Please do.
And me too. Stop. We need to take stock of ourselves, because we're worth it, and that's what we don't do. We just don't. I don't want to give anyone anything else to do, but when the pain comes up, take notice, because the body speaks to us through these sensory stabbing pain, through these sensations, and it's really nice to acknowledge, respond to it, and then release it.
Because all pain is a message. Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a message that dissolves a lot of stories. So if the pain's coming up, it's coming up for a reason. Just, the body has a capacity to heal itself, and it's so profound, and we should honour the miracles of what we are as physical beings here on Earth. And it's pretty amazing. And it's a real honour for me to facilitate. I feel like I facilitate transformations in
Absolutely, absolutely. And on a physical level, it becomes very tangible, doesn't it, in regards to people experiencing, no pain or pain. So, that's a fantastic shift in energy. So that's amazing. Awesome. Well done. So Maria, if people want to learn more, how do they get hold of you? How can they reach you? What's the best way to, tell us where you are as well in regards to, if people want to come and see you?
Yeah, I'm in Melbourne, Australia, but I do a lot of remote healing. So it's a lot of most of my work is international. So you can find me at mariaheals.com. Email me. There's also a contact form there. I get back to you within 48 hours, and would love to support anyone trying to navigate through pain or anxiety or stress, even clarity or direction. That all comes up during our sessions too. So they're pretty amazing, and I'd be honoured to do that.
Awesome. And so what's the usual format? Is it a single session? What's the process? Is that determined by what is present in the person's body, etc., or?
Yeah, I have a single session to start with, and then we can talk about what they need. Within one session, I find that a lot is resolved, but we're onions. It's like peeling back. Quite often we speak about, I wish I wasn't as conscious as I am, because every time I get up and I have a pain, I go, oh my God, what? Oh, yes, okay. And it's that dissection of energy and understanding the message to resolve it. So it's a perpetual thing, and it's that evolution. But don't let pain stop you from living life. That's, it's pretty important.
That would be the biggest message, is that you don't have to live with pain. It's just information trying to get through to you. Would that be true?
Absolutely. That is a fantastic way of putting it. Very succinct. It's we're all capable of such big things. Let's embrace it and move forward. But pain is a real message to stop, listen. It's almost like stop, shake it, roll it, release it.
Stop, and roll. Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share with anybody before we wrap up, Maria?
There's so much. There's so much of bones and muscles and inflammation and there's lots of adrenal fatigue syndrome around. There's so many diseases around. And if you are suffering, just go to someone that can really listen and witness you, so that you can be witnessed by your own soul. It's like, whoa! It's such a transformational process.
Yeah.
Don't sit in pain.
Yeah,
absolutely. It wrecks your nervous system.
Yeah, it's not good for you. Yeah, and once the information's been delivered, then you can be set free and be liberated from it. So thank you so much for being with me here today. It's fantastic to learn more about what you do and how you provide amazing transformations for people, and and especially with pain or chronic pain, and realizing that people don't have to live with that, and if they just take that opportunity to step into something a little bit new and a little bit different, they can be transformed from that. So really appreciate your time and attention here today, Maria. Thank you so much. Lots of love to you all, and we'll look forward to connecting again real soon. Okay, bye for now. Bye.